welcome back. We're trying something new today. I'm filming with my front camera and not the selfie camera because I thought maybe the quality is going to be better and also the light is going to change because today is the first day after 5 days of rain, and so I'm always filming in my sister's room because she has sun in the afternoon, but it's quite cloudy, so it might change. It's weird that I can't see myself, so I hope this is working, otherwise I have to film it again. So it's been some time, life happens. If you're not interested in the live chat, I totally get it. You can just skip ahead. I always put in timestamps, so you can just skip to the knitting and I see you then. Yes, some exciting life stuff happened. I have not even a clue if I'm looking at the camera right now, but let's hope for it. So I told in my last episode that I was going to a job interview, and I went there and it went very, very well. I had a really good feeling. I really liked the future colleagues, and yeah, and I actually got the job at the same day. I just missed the call. They decided immediately afterwards that they are going to give the job to me, but I didn't see that they called, and actually the day was quite exhausting. I always get a migraine when I have like appointments like an interview or stuff like that. So I went to bed at 8 that evening. That was on Friday. And I called them back on Sunday, and so I got the news on Sunday, but somehow I kind of had the feeling already that I might have gotten the job. So I actually started looking for flats on Friday on the way home already, because it was quite a long train ride. I slept the night before at my sister's because she is living closer, but still I think it was 2 to 3 hours, and then back home to my dad's place. And yeah, that was really exciting. I was over the moon. I was really happy. I really wanted the job, so obviously I'm very excited that I got the job and that I'm moving there. It's even more north than where I'm currently living. It's like halfway between Hamburg, which is like the biggest city in northern Germany, and the Danish border, and it's at the North Sea, so directly at the ocean, which is really nice as well. I missed that, and there are a lot of sheep living there, and yeah, I'm really, really excited. And so the last week, today is Friday, I basically spent all the time organizing, because they asked me when can you start working, and I was like, I can start the moment that I have a flat there. So I needed to find a flat before I could agree on the job, or I agreed on the job, but I couldn't say the date I wanted to start. And actually today I got signed 2 flats, and I just decided to obviously take only one. I don't need 2 flats, but yeah, I've been flat searching, or what is it? Yeah, flat searching since Sunday, which was really exhausting. I was there I went to my future place where I'm going to live by train on Wednesday, on Friday and Thursday. In between I went back to Hamburg, slept at a friend's place, then back there, then here. So it was a lot of train riding, a lot of knitting also, but yeah, it was exhausting. And also I had to do a lot of administrative stuff. I still struggle with the social money you get when you don't have a job in Germany. Like, there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes into it if you want to apply for it, and it just got to me. It got on my nerves. So I could say like the week before the interview and this week were quite stressful, and today is the first day. I think I'm actually really not relaxed. I'm quite like more like wired and I think I'm going to go outside after this. But yeah, I think I'm more hyper, like really excited, a lot of adrenaline, but it's the first day that I feel I have the situation under control. I set the date for my first work date. My sister's going to help me moving, and I got a flat, which I'm excited for as well. So I cancelled my storage place in Berlin. So a lot of things happening at the same time. And also, yeah, it was a crazy week, I would say, but a happy week. And yeah, the week before the interview was crazy as well, because I can't recommend promising or setting yourself several knitting deadlines before an interview that you haven't prepped yet. So I was really stressed because the day of my interview my sister was leaving for October. I needed to finish the cardigan for my sister until the day of my interview. I needed to prep my interview, and I realized halfway through to the interview that I actually don't have enough like proper clothing for an interview. And I mean, the job isn't like a very formal one. You don't have to wear a suit or something, but it's you work in public service, so you kind of don't go there with like an oversized hoodie and leggings or something like that. And my former workplace was quite chilled. Like some colleagues were coming with like sportswear, and one of my bosses, she came like all clothed in designer clothing, so it was quite a mix, and you just came as you wished. But I felt like I need to look more proper, and especially I wasn't prepped for dressing for cooler weather, because the weather here has changed drastically. Yeah, I thought like we are going to have a warm September, as many people I think in the middle of Europe. This didn't happen, I would say. It got quite cold. I think we have way under 10 degrees now during the night, and I think some days like the highest temperature was like 11 degrees. So this is like our temperature we usually have in December, which is great. And since my dad is not putting on the heating system until November, it's freaking cold in here. Like, you can't imagine, like the highest temperature we get in the rooms when you spend, like when a person is sitting inside the room all day because you're radiating off body heat, it's going up to 16 degrees, but usually the temperature is around 14 degrees. So yeah, quite cozy here. No, yeah, so I'm glad I'm moving out and I can decide if I want to put on heating or not, and because it's then my flat and not my dad's house. But also, like, I think he's a little bit crazy, but I think he's not the only one. Like, there was an article in one of a big German newspaper, and all of the journalists of that newspaper wrote an article about their energy heating situation at home, and I felt really connected when I read that, because they were like telling stories as well, how cold it is and how they manage it as a family, and how they do like competitions who can shower cold the longest and stuff like that. So yeah, I think there's a general mind change in Germany happening right now. I don't know if it's the same in other Middle European countries, but yeah, it's quite drastic, I would say. And so yeah, I was sitting already inside knitting with 2 jumpers, a scarf, a hat, 2 layers of wool socks and 2 blankets. That was my, and a hot water bottle. So that was my knitting situation, I would say, my chill at the couch knitting situation, because it was so damn cold in the rooms when you weren't moving. And so I was, okay, I really need a hat and a scarf and a warm jumper to go to that interview and still look like proper and nice. And the scarf and the hat that I have here have holes, and one is peeling a lot. I don't have anything to de-peel my jumpers here, so yeah, these weren't both options. And in the end, what I wore was this jumper. This is store-bought jumper, but it had a hole, so I needed to repair that. But it's nice. I wanted to do that anyways because it's a quite, I think it's United Colors of Benetton, so it's a really high quality jumper. And yeah, then we're going straight into my finished objects because I'm wearing 2 of them. So yeah, I was like, I think 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday, I got the yarn for my sister, and then I realized, like, damn, I need a hat and a scarf or something to cover my, not throat, neck. So what I knitted is this hat, and I based this on, what is it? I think it's the Olivia hat by Knitwear Architect. I actually wanted to knit her pattern, which is a stockinette, not ribbing, how do you call that? Brim, and a half fisherman's rib top. And it looks really, really nice. And I bought her pattern, and the pattern is really, really great. I love it. Like, I mean, you probably can't do it for all patterns, but since the hat pattern is quite short, she put a pattern for every size, like individually, so you don't accidentally knit like the stitches for the smaller size or the bigger size, which is great because this is something that happens to me. And also she put in like little boxes. So if you print out the pattern, you can just cross them off, which I found really nice as well. Like, generally her what is it, like the way her pattern is written and designed, it's very thought through. It's like very detailed and very lovely. So if she brings out another pattern, I will definitely buy it. But when I looked into the pattern for the size I wanted to knit, or I needed for my hat, there was the meterage that was given, or the grams, was a little bit over 50 gram. So, and I only had 50 gram. So I felt like, okay, this is not working, because I didn't want to buy extra yarn for it. I had something from an order for something else, which I will get into next. But so yes, then I just took her. So this hat is basically self-drafted. It is loosely based on the Olivia hat and the Bear hat by Hanne G Knits, which are both patterns I had, and I just looked into it, how many stitches they cast on for my size and how they did like decreases, and that's basically it. So I did the exact same cast on stitches, so I can't really tell you because I still paid for that pattern. And what I did then, I did a tubular cast on, and then I did like 1 by 1 ribbing for 15 centimeters. And then I started stockinette with mohair, held double with the main yarn. So I feel like this is very confusing, but we're going with it anyways. Where's the yarn? So the main yarn is BC Garn's Semilla Melange, and in this color light gray. And this is the yarn I wanted for the Hollywood sweater, but when I looked online, the light gray looked very different in different online yarn shops, and nowhere nearby they had like the yarn in stores, so I couldn't check it. So what I did, I ordered one skein of this, one skein of the blue I wanted to hold it together with, or not together, but have as a contrast color. And what I also ordered was the natural color, because if the gray would have been too dark, I would have opted for the natural color, which is like a cream colored white. And so actually the color was kind of like perfect. I really like it. If it's not visible on the camera right now, I will put it in like pictures of it. And this yarn is so lovely, like it's so squishy and soft, and I just want to knit everything with it. So it's 100% wool. It's runs 175 meters for 50 gram, and is recommended for 4 to 5 millimeter needles. And I knitted this head on 4 millimeter needles. And so I started the brim, and after halfway through the brim, I realized, oh, I actually have a mohair I could hold with it. And I thought maybe this could be a cool like contrast look. And I really like it. I don't have the mohair with me right now here, but it's the Sortrene Grene Mohair. I think it's a, is it like, I think it's on a silk base, like mohair silk base. I will put in the information. But what I knew was, because my forehead is very sensitive, so I knew if I would knit like the head until like, no, if I would start too early with the mohair, it would get very itchy on my forehead. And so what I did, like you can see that there's quite still some ribbing left until I start with the mohair. So the mohair kind of starts exactly where my hairline starts, so I don't get itchy, which is perfect. And I really, yeah, it's really fluffy on the top and very warm, but not itchy on the forehead, which is perfect. And it was such a joy to knit it. First of all, it's a very fast project. I think it took me like 1 day. And second of all, I love this yarn. I want to knit so much with this. And so it's great that I decided to knit a sweater with it. And yeah, I have a lot of it left. So maybe I could even have done the Olivia head pattern, but I wasn't sure, and I wanted to be safe, and I didn't want to experiment, and this was the fastest option. And yeah, I really like it. I have been wearing it since I finished it 1.5 weeks ago, every day. Yeah, it's lovely. So yes, where did I stop? I'm really happy, and I now know how many stitches I need to cast on for my perfect head. And I am definitely planning on knitting the Olivia head like it's written in the pattern with the half fisherman's rib. I really want to do that. And yeah, I did the decreases like the bear head from Hanne G Knits, or basically it's the same as I do with socks, like the same rhythm and yeah, amount of decreases, just only you don't do it on 2 sides, you do it on 4 sides. But yeah, so it's perfect. I'm definitely going to go into mass production with this head, because I really need more heads, because it's very windy, very cold where I'm going to move. And the second thing I knitted is this little scarf thing. And obviously I saw the, what is it called? The thing that everyone is knitting right now, like the thin, is it Olivia? No. You know what I mean, like the thin long scarf that everyone is knitting. You can also wear it in your hair or around your neck. And I saw that and I was like, oh, it's quite convenient. But I'm not a huge fan of the garter stitch, and I also didn't want to pay for the pattern because, yeah, I was really broke at that time. And I still had the pattern from the Sierra scarf from Steffie design in my library, pattern library, because I knitted that one for my grandmother in spring. And I knitted it in this lovely alpaca socks yarn, but it was very soft, so it was perfect for her. And it has like this lovely like leaf lace detail, and it's like a, it's, how do you call that, triangle shaped one, but yeah, or bandana I would call it probably in English. And yeah, she loved it and I really enjoyed making it. It was the first lace thing I ever knitted, but you have to follow the pattern quite so you always have to look at the pattern. You can't just like knit it and remember it because it always changes, so it's not that easy of a knit. But I thought, okay, I just need something for my neck to not get cold, for no wind getting in, because I only have a parka jacket here as well. I don't have a wind or rainproof jacket here. And I also am not the biggest fan of knitted scarves, I have to say. I have like a really nice woolen, but it's like woolen like felted scarf, but it's in Berlin. And yeah, I didn't really want to invest in a whole knitted scarf, which I won't wear in the end. And so what I did, I knitted this one, and it's kind of not crumbled, yeah, it's kind of crumbled, because I have also been wearing this non-stop because I have been traveling a lot. So it is basically, yeah, just a triangle shaped bandana, and I left out the lace section because actually when you don't knit the lace, you don't need the pattern, or you don't need to follow the pattern the whole time. You can just knit it out like straight away and just do the increases. And yeah, it's very lovely, it's very soft, and it's very functional. But I actually going to rip it, no, like not forget, unravel the bind off. So that's what I wanted to say, because first of all I bound off the wrong way because I was in a hurry, so you can't, I wasn't really able to weave in properly the ends because my bind off was wrong. And I actually still have a lot of yarn left from this project, and I think it could be a little bit longer, so that would be actually quite useful. And so the yarn I bought for this is very soft, and I have never heard of it before. I saw it in my local yarn store, and what I actually wanted was the alpaca silk by Sandnes Garn, which I used for the first Camisole No. 5 before, but they didn't have a dark blue navy color, which was what I was going for, because I knew I would wear this jumper and this hat, so this was actually perfect. And the yarn is called Llama Silk by Järbo. This is the label, and it's baby llama and silk yarn, and it's, you should use like 3.5mm needles, and I think there's no meter, yeah, it is like 165 meters for 50 gram, and it is 70% baby llama and 30% mulberry silk, made in Olivia, and the brand is actually Swedish. I know that because there's like the name written of the town. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Gävle, because I used to live there for 4 weeks because a friend of mine did Erasmus there. So, but I think you don't say the G as a G. if I remember it right. Yeah, but I really like it. I think it's really pretty. It's really simple but effective, I would say. And yeah, if I will open up the bind off and make it bigger, I think I can maybe wrap it around my neck twice. And yeah, I think I look very smart, very Parisian. And also it's very warm with the baby llama. It's very soft material, and it was also very fast knit with the 3.5mm needles, and it's not such a huge fabric. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I haven't properly blocked it. My sister has a steamer, so I steam blocked it, and actually I think if I do the bind off again, I will block this time properly, because it easily starts folding inside. So maybe I do a different bind off, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, very lovely design, and I will maybe make one in the future with the leaf details for myself as well, because I think it's a beautiful design. I think it's very similar to the scarves that My Favorite Things Knitwear put out. But yeah, I don't think I need more than one scarf pattern, because I'm not a huge scarf person, or I would tend to always wear the same. So yeah, that's it. Excuse me, I think I need to look at my notes and what I have been written down. So yeah, these were the only finished objects for myself. Actually, I can put it on again because it's not warm inside here. I think this is like the coldest I am dressed for a few days now, because otherwise I would have worn a big jumper over this one. And yeah, so my last finished object is the Felix Cardigan by Aimee that I knitted for the Oktoberfest of my sister, or for my sister. And obviously I don't have it with me anymore because she went there last Friday, a week ago. And I will insert pictures of the finished object as well as of her wearing it. And you can also check out on my Instagram. I posted on there about the cardigan. So I did knit this with Drops Nepal. It's is it like worsted weight? Yeah, it's worsted weight actually, but I just learned that worsted is a way you spin yarn and not a weight. But I think the general term for this weight is still worsted. Yeah, it's a worsted weight for 5mm needles by Drops, and it's 35% alpaca, 65% wool. And I have it just in the plain white. I think it's the first color or something. When this yarn, so first of all, my sister wanted a very fastly done cardigan. I needed it to be for that on bigger needles, but I also don't really like knitting on bigger needles, so it was quite a dilemma, and she wanted something cheap. So since Drops has an alpaca sale right now, this was the cheapest option. All in all, the cardigan cost like 12 euros, including the buttons, so that's crazy, but it's also very cropped, I have to say. But this yarn was so unpleasant to knit with, I have to say. And I looked up the different experiences with this yarn because I wasn't sure how it's going to block, and I checked on Ravelry what people wrote about it. And some people described this as rustic. Some people did like felting with it. Others had like huge problems with knots in it. I don't know, they were like really mixed reactions, and I think generally, like, I had no knots, or I had like one knot, but it wasn't the end of the world. And also, like, I think you can't expect that much for, I think that it was 150 per ball or something. So yeah, like what can you expect for 150 of natural fiber, or for a natural fiber. So that was that. But this feels like a synthetic fiber to me, or at least like a superwashed yarn. And I checked this a few times if it's not superwashed, but no, it wasn't written anywhere. So I think this is not superwashed, but I think maybe because it's super fine alpaca, this feels weird to me, I would say. I think it's interesting that for me it feels like synthetic, and for other people it feels rustic. This just shows how different the experience with yarn is. But yeah, so I hate the color. I don't like this white. Probably in the slide it's looking nicer than it actually is. I thought it's going to be more off-white, and it was like a proper white, like a stark white. So yeah, looking at the yarn was really unpleasant. Then I didn't like the touch. I don't like to knit with needles over 4.5 millimeters. This was knitted on 5 millimeter needles, so this was also not a pleasant experience, but it's all my fault and not the yarn's fault, I have to say, because it was poor choices on my side, or like really short-term made choices. But actually the color fitted perfectly to the dresses of my sister, so it all worked out, and it was very warm, and she was very happy with the finished garment. Regarding the pattern, I wasn't also the biggest fan of the pattern. I think there's nothing wrong. I think the sizing is a little bit weird. There's definitely room to improve, because I think it starts with a 99 centimeter bust, depending how much positive ease you want to wear it with. This is like already quite a high size you start with, and then it doesn't go really up that much either. So I think there are like only 3 or 4 sizes. So, but it worked for my sister. Also, you cast on the same amount for stitches for the cardigan in all sizes. You knit it top down, which wasn't working for me because the cardigan is knitted on 6 millimeter needles and I did it on 5, so my gauge was off. But what I did, I recalculated it and did cast a different number on, and then knitted it to a bigger size than the size my sister actually wanted. And so I met like I didn't meet gauge, but I met the measurements that my sister wanted to have. Yeah, and it's a basic raglan construction. You have like this lace detailing going down here. I think it's quite a good beginner project because it's not that complicated. So I was actually really bored, I have to say. Especially because there's a lot of purling involved. I don't like purling, I didn't like the yarn, I didn't like the needles. So basically the only reason why I knit it was because my sister wanted it and not because I was enjoying it. And what I was annoyed a little bit by was I needed to knit the sleeves on DPNs because I didn't have fitting circular needles. And you really see where like I changed DPNs, which I don't usually have a problem with, and I thought like, okay, blocking is definitely going to solve it, and it actually didn't. You can still see it, and I think my sister didn't notice, and I don't know if I would have needed to block it longer, but yeah, it's still you have like these lines going down the sleeves, which is really annoying. And I also realized that blocking your garment in a 15 degrees room is quite difficult, because I finished the garment around like 24-36 hours before my sister was leaving, and after 24 hours it wasn't not even close to being dry, and I needed to stretch it quite a lot, so I couldn't take it off my yoga mat where I was pinning it down, but I also needed to take it. So yeah, but it dried all right, it fits her, and this is all that counts. And I mean, it survived the Oktoberfest, which I was quite surprised by, because it wouldn't have surprised me if it wouldn't have made it back, because her velvet pink shoes didn't make it back. Yeah, but yeah, she's happy, but I wouldn't recommend that yarn. I wouldn't knit with it again. And if you're looking for something more advanced, the Felix Cardigan is definitely not for you, but there's nothing wrong with the pattern. So these are all my finished objects. So let's do works in progress. So, I mean, since all my finished objects were new cast-ons and weren't even the topic last time, or weren't even the whip last time, I obviously didn't get as far as I hoped with my works in progress from the last episode. But I still managed to get in some knitting. I'm quite surprised by it, but I think it's also due to all the trainers do it. So my first work in progress is actually a half finished object, because it is socks. And these are the leaf socks by Woodlandwalk. And that I finished these is a miracle, because they weren't finished yesterday, but I had like 4 3-hour rides. So what is that? 12 hours train ride basically. So I used them a lot for knitting. So I finished the first one. I don't know if I'm a frame, but this is how they are looking. They are so damn pretty. I really want to take pictures with some autumn leaves. So after I finish up here, I will go and collect some, because today they're at least not wet. So yeah, I'm really happy. They look really pretty. I won't take them off right now and show you the lace part in from the top, which I think will look very different from the side. But the lace work relaxed really nicely. The yarn got a really nice halo after washing it, and I was quite worried that they are quite tight, but I don't think so. I haven't tried them on yet, but they are quite loose on the sock blocker, so I think I'm fine. And I'm really excited to wear them, because also a friend of mine gifted me shoes she ordered that aren't fitting her. So, and they are like loafers, so they are like perfect for showing off really pretty self-knitted socks. And yeah, I'm really looking forward when this is dry and the second one is done. I think they're going to be very warm, very pretty. I love the color. I think it got very dark here, but I hope you still can see it. Yeah, and also Carson from Carsley Handmade, I hope I'm saying that right, but she is doing a lot of socks by this Handmade Life, and I'm really inspired to do more of her sock patterns as well. I love this one so much, and I think it looks really pretty, and I really prefer lace knitting over color work, but I think color work is also growing on me. So I couldn't even decide right now which one I would prefer, but I really like them. And the second pair is in this bag, so I'm already after the heel. I looked up again the terms for socks, because I was so confused what, like, the cuff, the heel, the toe, what the leg, what are the parts of a foot. But so yeah, I've done the cuff, I've done the heel, so now only the foot and then the toe. So I think this is going to be finished after the weekend. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of drying, and I think I definitely will have enough for a second pair, because I haven't weighed the socks yet, or the yarn, but yeah, I think I will make it maybe a second one with another autumnal knitting pattern. And also I think I will take part in the, what is it, like Leaf Autumn Sock Along or something. I will write it somewhere on the screen, because I think the idea of autumnal socks is really quite cute, and I think I've never been a part of a knit along, so why not start there with something I already am doing anyways. Yeah, I think that's all to that. I'm really thinking about getting 2mm needles, since I'm knitting these on 2.5, but I think I could go like smaller, because these are still very loose and airy, so they might get even tighter, and I think the 56 stitch cast on was a good choice. My next and still not finished whip, obviously, because otherwise it wouldn't be a whip, is my last camisole number 5. But we have finally finished the body, which I'm so glad about, because it just felt forever, like with every, I think with this one it felt longer than with the other ones. Even though this yarn has a really nice cool touch, and I think will be very nice for my friend to wear, it is very splitty. So it's Hjertegarn, the bamboo and cotton blend, and yeah, I did like Judy's Magic cast off, bind off, I think, so it's very stretchy, which will be perfect. And I still need to do all of the double knitting, but I will finish this next week, because I'm taking this to Berlin to give it to her personally, since I'm going there anyways. So now I have a final deadline, and I actually really got stressed about it, because her birthday was on the 17th of September, and I really wanted to have it finished until then. But with like the cardigan, my hat and scarf and everything else that was happening, and I really couldn't find the time and motivation to do it. And I think like a lot of knitters feel, especially when it's gift knitting, feel stressed to finish it to a certain point and to prioritize the gift knitting over the selfish or personal knitting, and I wasn't really feeling it. And then I just put it away, and I think after a week after I finished the Felix cardigan, everything, I had more capacity for it again, and I finished the body really fast. This is actually what I took to the interview on the train with me, so it was like a good distraction for that. And so in the next podcast, this is going to be finished and hopefully gone, and I will have at least a few months quiet time of camisoles in my life. Another whip, and still a whip from last time, is the coloring book tea by Aimee Sher. And isn't this right? I did actually make a huge progress, because this is actually my comfy knitting right now, because it's just plain stocky knit. And also so let me show it first. So yeah, it's the coloring book tea by Aimee Sher. I don't even know what size I'm knitting it, but I'm knitting it in Sunday yarn by Sandnes Garn, in whatever colorway, I don't know. And last time I said like, oh, it's called banana, and I don't think this color is banana, or should be called banana. And then I looked it up again, and I saw that there's always, when you go into online shops, there are like always 2 different Sunday yarns listed, because there's the petite knit collection and there's the normal collection basically. And I didn't see that, and just clicked on the petite knit collection, and she designed a color which is called banana or banana. And the color actually that I'm knitting is one of the classic collection, I will just call it. And the color is, I think, translated from Danish into, or I don't even know what Scandinavian country Sandnes Garn is from, but it's called like straw yellow, or straw gold, which I find very accurate actually. Quite picky when it comes to my colors and color naming, so that this is actually called a color name that it fits to the color, yeah, helps me find my piece. So yeah, this is my comfort knitting. It's just since I divided for the sleeves and body, it's just plain stockinette. I think there's not even that much left, and it's so fast. The yarn is very pleasant to knit with, so I'm definitely going to do it again. And I actually decided to do stripes, but only like this, like thin stripe at the ribbing, at the arms, sleeves, and at the hem. It's a very pleasant knit. I'm really enjoying it. I needed to order for another project some more whitish yarn. This is not real white, this is more cream color, but I think I will do the small stripe at the sleeves and hem in this one. And also maybe thinking of doing long sleeves, but I don't think I have enough yarn for it. And also I wanted this as a layering piece, so I think it defies the purpose if I do knit long sleeves, but I might do it again. And I'm really hooked on the raglan construction thing, and yeah, very pleasant knit. I think this is going to be finished as well. I think all of my current whips are going to be finished until next time, because they are like quite, like all of them are at least halfway or 2/3 done. And my last work in progress is hanging behind me. Let me get it. And it's the knot pullover, and it's probably the whip I made the most progress on, because I only had like, I think 1 stripe or maybe 2 stripes, and now the body is finished and I just have to do the sleeves. But I also powered through it because I really want that like that garment, that jumper to wear, because I'm really excited to have to put together outfits for work again, because for the last year basically I've been working on my master thesis from home in lockdown. So I basically spent since last October every day in my pajama or some loungewear, and on rare occasions I put on like real pants and like went out, but I was yeah, there was no reason really to put on jeans or nicer jumpers or something. So actually being able to wear all my jumpers out and they being appreciated would be really nice. And I think this is going to be one of these. I think this is actually a piece which could be easily dressed down or up, depending like what you wear at the bottom, if it's like jeans or if you put on like smarter pants, it could be actually look really nice with some black smart pants. And yeah, I'm knitting this with the beigey color is held with 2 strands, or like 1 strand of 2 different yarns. One is the merino lace by woolfieyarn. Woolfieyarn is a brand or an online store for yarn, and they get the yarn directly from the mill. And the other one is Filcolana Arwetta classic, and the dark is Sandnes Garn Smart. And yeah, I'm really happy. I already tried it on because it's knitted from the top, from bottom up, which was a first for me as well. And you can really I mean, you can't really see, but I can really see how my color work improved, because with this jumper I realized that I actually doing my color work or holding my yarn for my color work differently than when I'm knitting only with 1 color. So this was also the reason why it felt very uncomfortable for me knitting with 2 strands of different colors. And yeah, since I figured that out, I know now how to hold my yarn the right way. And yeah, also this is like a really repetitive color work part. You don't have to look at charts. It's quite easy. I think it's also a good beginner project for color work, because it's not that complicated and you do always repeat, and also stripes are addicting. And yeah, the only annoying thing is that you have to knit the 2 upper stripes flat in color work, and I think in the pattern it is not only 2 stripes, it's 3 stripes, but I accidentally cropped the armholes, sleeve holes, because yeah, I won't get into it, but I did some measuring mistakes, but I think this will block out and my arms still fit into the sleeve holes, and the length is actually perfect. And I think if I will, because I want to block it a little bit bigger, so I think it won't grow that much in length. And I did modify the collar quite a lot. I will insert a picture of the one that is written in the pattern, but I didn't really get it. It's not that I didn't understand it, but I didn't understand the purpose of it. I don't know, maybe I misunderstood something, maybe it's just a design feature, but basically you do like some stockinette brim, and then you start the proper collar from that on, and you do like a one, is it a, like, yeah, just a 1 by 1 rib. And I really wanted a double folded collar, and so I just started it straight away. I'm knitting the body on 4mm needles and the ribbing on 3.5, and I actually put this time directly in the elastic thread from Petite Knit. I bought this actually for the Camisole No. 5s, but never needed it, and now I used it because this collar is quite high. It's sitting more like a mock neck, I would say, similar to the coloring book tee. So I was afraid that this is not, if it's not sitting tight, it will look like really weird. So I put in the elastic thread, and yeah, I'm really excited to be able to wear this. It's very squishy. I think it's going to be very warm, and it's actually going to be the perfect size. And yeah, I mean, there's some puckering, do you call it like that? But I think with blocking it will totally even out. I'm sure of that, and I don't worry about that much. So yeah, I'm curious how it's going to sit. And this was like basically the project I put most of my energy, besides my stress knits, I call them. Yeah, and I think I wanted to keep this episode under 1 hour, but I think this is not realistic, I have to say. Yeah, I'm really like, the thing is, like, I think from the comments people don't, I got the feeling that people don't mind that my episodes are that long, but for my editing and exporting process it's quite annoying. So yeah, but I think I might have a solution for that. So, my knitting plans and acquisitions. I did say that weird. Yes, but I did acquire some yarn. Though I'm not showing everything this episode, I will talk about it, I think, next week, because I won't do anything with it until then. So, and this is already getting very long. So, what I did is I ordered the BC yarn, like I was telling earlier. And yeah, I didn't just order the grey, I also ordered the blue and the white. Do I have everything in here? Yeah, it's all a tangled mess. And what I did, I swatched for the halibut sweater. And I did 3 swatches and put them on this masking wire. And they are very messy because I tried for the first time swatching in the round, and I think I might have not done it in the right way. But I was also very excited and in a hurry, and just touching these swatches, I'm so excited about the jumper, because this is so soft and squishy. I think this might be my favorite yarn right now. Yeah, I think it's perfect. And I really like, this is the second yarn from BC Garn I'm already knitting with, so I really want to try all of their different yarn combinations, or yeah, different yarns. So this was the original color combination I was thinking of, a light gray with the denim blue. But looking at it, I was like not really obsessed with it. It felt very masculine and grey, and usually I think I have a very unisex look, and I do like that a lot, but this felt kind of depressing, I have to say. Maybe because the weather changed a lot and everything when you look outside looks depressing, but yeah, I wasn't really feeling it. And so then I did the natural color with the denim blue on it as a contrast color, and this was giving me proper like Frozen vibes, like the children Disney movie Frozen, like the white with the blue on top. And also Hanne from Hanne G Knits, she has designed a snowflake jumper or something for children, and one of her like example knits is in these colors, and I was so reminded of that, and I felt like a snowman if I would wear this. And I think for children it's lovely, but for me I wouldn't want to wear that. And what I also did, because I was like because actually I like the colors together, but yeah, I don't like this combination. I tried the denim blue as a base color and the natural as the contrast color, and this was actually, the option I like the most. So I don't know if it's possible to hold them next to each other because I only have two hands. Maybe you can just do the chain. Yeah, so like this. So these are the combinations I swatched, and I mean, I won't cast this on immediately, so still have a few weeks to change my mind, but at the moment I'm definitely preferring the blue with the cream color. I was a little bit skeptical because it's a fish motif, and I thought like, oh, doing a blue sweater with a fish on it, it might be a little bit too much. But on the other hand, I thought like, why not? And the funny thing is I showed this to a friend and she said, oh, I can't really imagine you in blue. And then I was like, oh, but I think I'm entering a blue phase right now because I have a lot of blue yarn right now. And also I thought about it because I think most of my friends would, if they would use colors to describe me, I think they would use very autumnal colors like browns and rust colors and greens and stuff like that. But actually looking in my wardrobe, I don't wear any warm colors. I tend to wear like cooler colors, like all of this. I like to have like cool colors with a warm undertone or warm colors with a cooler undertone, because my hair is very warm colors and I have green and brown eyes, and I get very tanned in the summer. So I think, for example, if I wear like mustard colors or very warm, I have a rust colored jumper which has a beautiful color, but when I'm wearing it, I think it stands in a it is in a competition with my hair color, and my hair starts looking really brassy and not that warm anymore, which is not what I want. So that's, I think, the reason why I tend to wear cooler colors, even though I think I prefer warmer colors, because I think they fit my coloring better. I think that's the word. So yeah, maybe I need more blue jumpers in my life, I think. So yeah, we will see if I change my mind again, but this is right now what I'm thinking of. I have them both caked up again, but I will definitely wait ordering this yarn until I moved. First of all, I don't want to move with a sweater quantity of yarn that I won't be able to knit up before that. And second of all, I have a cake winder, but I don't have a Swift. And when you do that with like 1 or 2 hangs, it's alright. but if you do it with a sweater quantity, it takes forever. So I really like, I think the first thing I'm going to order in the new flat is like a wooden Swift, a nice one, so I can order these ones and knit them up. So yeah, that's in there. Also, since you saw what they were hanging on, because I also ordered masking wires. I think that's how they're called, because I don't know with what order they came in. Again, excuse me. But I thought, like, with how many garments I'm knitting right now, these could be actually really useful. And before that, I used my Knitting Pro needles, because you can join the cables and then you have very long cables and you are able to try on garments as well, but they are quite stiff, so the garment isn't like falling naturally. So these are really convenient, I have to say. I really recommend buying them if you're a garment knitter, especially like for trying on things when you haven't finished the collar and stuff like that, sleeves. They are like just a game changer. And I have to say, I find these colors really horrible. I think I might give them away to my other knitting friends, because I think there are like some colors are flying around in my home, but yeah, they are like all colors of the rainbow and totally not me. And I wish I would have gotten the petite knit beige ones, but they are sold out everywhere and I just wanted to get them straight away, so I just bought them. And I think they won't get thrown away, but just looking at them, my aesthetic nerd is going crazy. So what else? I think when I am finished with the Camisole No. 5 and my knot pullover, I will cast on next my fortune sweater, which I was planning on knitting in brushed alpaca silk by Drops, and I'm still planning on that, but I realized, because I was planning on knitting like some fancy jumper with some intricate lace work, but still warm and lightweight. And then I thought, do I actually need this garment in that way for this winter? Because seeing how the energy crisis is developing right now, and since I'm going to work in a public building and there's a law in Germany right now that, or a recommendation, that the I think the room temperature for public buildings are dropped to 19 degrees or even lower, I think. So actually I don't need like lightweight jumper, I need something that keeps me warm sitting 8 hours at a desk. And actually this yarn is very warm, but it's very airy as well. And looking at the jumpers I already own, I really prefer the ones that are really structured, like not in a textured way, but structured, that they don't have that much drape, that they stand on their own kind of. And I actually like my favorite jumper. It's so dense and has so much structure that if you like put it standing on the floor, it would hold up on itself. So knitting this only with Drops brushed alpaca silk, would it make like very drapey and flowy, which is not, I think, my preferred garment. So, and since I'm already liking the lace yarn by woolfieyarn so much, and it's really cheap, like you pay for 100 grams 9 euros, and for this jumper I have now, I think I need around 1,000 meters, so it's like, I don't know, 11-12 euros. It's very cheap. And so, and I really like it as a second strand. So I thought, like, why not order a grey one for my fortune sweater? And that's what I did. So it's a little bit darker than the Drops brushed alpaca silk, but I think this is going to make it look even more interesting and give the lace work more definition and make it more squishy. So I think this was a really good choice. Now I just need to swatch again and see if I need to go up in needle size or if I can stay with 3.5mm needles. But yeah, this is going to be the next jumper in my hopefully wardrobe, but also on my knitting list. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I ordered like 150 grams, and they sent it like first of all, they package it. The packaging is quite minimalistic, which I like, and it's all plastic free. So they just wrap the yarn in paper and they put their lovely cards in it and then just put it in a box. So I really like it. And this is actually, I think I talked about it before, but this is a family-owned business. They are like really small but really lovely. And oh, I actually got a discount code now, which is really nice. Yeah, and like for example, this card, like the drawings are made by their daughter, which I find really cute. And you can order through Etsy or their website, and I checked they do at least Europe-wide shipping for a very low cost. Like you don't pay that much extra, I think, and they might even do worldwide shopping. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I really like it. They have a cool, like really interesting range of yarn. I also, when I bought, I need to put this away. Okay, so when I ordered these two, I had in my shopping basket another quantity for a cardigan, but I decided against it because the shipping costs are quite low, and I knew I wouldn't be able to knit this in the next month, so I thought like, okay, I don't need to decide to order that straight away. I can order it in a month still. And I really like that the yarn is caked up already, and it also comes with these strands and little hooks where you know what you ordered, coloring name and everything. So yeah, I really appreciate it because like when I, for example, order drops from the common websites you can order it from in Germany, always comes like in so much plastic, which I don't really appreciate it. The BC yarn I ordered from Wolln Berlin, which is my favorite yarn store, and they do a really sustainable packaging as well. I mean, ordering online is never really sustainable, but yeah, they at least do like a paper-based packaging and try to reduce the plastic, which I really appreciate. So yeah, these were my current acquisitions, and I'm also thinking of getting red yarn because there's a really lovely yarn store in Hamburg where my friends are always going, but I've never been there. And they have some BC yarn as well because I checked their stash on, or not stash, but their offer online, and they have also really nice red yarn. And I'm not a huge red person, I have to say. It's not a color I wear a lot. But I'm really intrigued by the, what is it called? Live Knit Quarticle. I think you might have seen it on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, it's a movie and one of the characters is wearing, I think, a blue, is it like a overall or a blue shirt and pants, and always a red hat similar to mine but with a 2x2 ribbing, and I really like the look. It also gives me fisherman vibes, which I'm really into. But yeah, so I'm considering if I need a red hat in my life with that yarn that I saw online, and before I move I really want to go to that shop, so I might get that red yarn. Yeah, like I said, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to the next week. I'm really getting into interior shopping now, because also a lot of secondhand shopping, but yeah, because I finally can furnish the flat, and I'm signing the contract on Tuesday, and I think I will also sign the contract for my work on Tuesday, and then I can finally relax. Yeah, good times are ahead. Yeah, tell me what you're knitting on. I'm still really surprised and mind blown by all the comments, because I'm not a huge commenter on YouTube, even though I consume YouTube quite a lot. So people taking the time and writing all these lovely things is still amazing to me, and I really read all of them. I mean, there are not that many yet, but I'm also really mind blown that like every day there's a new subscriber who's interested in my videos. So I will definitely try to continue these knitting podcast content during like my full-time job, but I don't know how to integrate it yet. Yeah. Also, if you want to have like more continuous content, I share frequently on Instagram, like through stories, but also all my finished objects in a post. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more sheep content, because I'm moving in an area where a lot of sheep live. So, and obviously I love sheep. Who doesn't love sheep? As a knitter, like, I think, yeah, this would be like contradictive, is it a word? If you would be knitting and don't like sheep. So yeah, I think I will go for a small walk now and take in the last of the sun and find some pretty autumn leaves for my Woodlandwalk color sock photo shooting. And we will see each other next week, or like, yeah, I think in a week probably. I try to upload this on the weekend, but like the exporting and uploading process on YouTube is ridiculously long, because my dad has the slowest internet of all times. Oh, I need to, oh, that reminds me, I need to get a new internet contract for my new flat, because this is like really important, because otherwise I can't watch my YouTube podcast when I'm living there, which is like really important. But yeah, it was nice having you here. I hope you have a nice weekend and or a good start in the new week, and happy autumn knitting, and I will share my progress in the next 2 or 1 week. Bye bye.